Hey guys, tonight we slip into the velvet night of ancient Mexico, where the stars burn like lanterns over a sprawling Aztec city. You're sprawled on a woven mat, the air thick with copal smoke, and the skies a glittering tapestry the Aztecs read like a sacred book. These weren't just twinkling lights. They were gods, omens, and calendars, guiding every step of their world. Fun fact, you probably won't survive misreading a comet's warning, so pay attention. So, before you get comfortable, take a moment to like the video and subscribe, but only if you genuinely enjoy what I do here. Drop your location and local time in the comments. I'm curious where you're drifting off tonight. Now, dim the lights, maybe turn on a fan for that soft background hum, and let's ease into tonight's journey together. You're lying on a rooftop in Tenochtitlan, the Aztec capital, around 1450. The city hums below, merchants haggling, kids chasing dogs, the distant thump of a temple drum. But up here, it's just you and the stars. The Aztecs didn't just stargaze for fun. Their whole society leaned on the sky's patterns. Mainstream history tells us they tracked constellations, like the Pleiades, called Tianquistli, to time festivals and sacrifices. These stars weren't random. They were a cosmic blueprint for survival. A quirky tidbit? Some Aztec kids were told shooting stars were gods dropping their laundry, a silly way to calm fears of fiery streaks. Historians still argue whether the Aztecs mapped stars as precisely as the Maya, but their sky obsession was no joke. Picture yourself squinting at the Milky Way, which the Aztecs called Mixcoatl, the cloud serpent. It slithers across the sky, a glowing river of divine gossip. Priests up here with you are muttering, pointing at Orion's belt. 3 stars they tied to their fire god. You're not just looking at pretty lights. You're decoding a celestial script. The Aztecs believed every star had a job. Some sparked wars, others blessed crops. You feel the weight of it. These aren't abstract dots, but living forces. Joke 1. If you think your horoscope's intense, try explaining a bad star sign to an Aztec priest with a knife. The air's cooling now, and you're sinking into the rhythm of the night. You shift on the mat, scratching a mosquito bite. The city skyline juts with pyramids, their tips kissing the stars. The Aztecs built these to mirror the heavens, aligning temples with solstices and equinoxes. You're starting to get why they were so intense about this. The stars told them when to plant, fight, or spill blood on altars. A priest nearby jabs a finger at Venus, the morning star, linked to Quetzalcoatl, the feathered serpent god. Its rising could mean glory or doom, depending on the day. You're no priest, but you're hooked, trying to spot patterns in the chaos above. Joke 2. Imagine an Aztec astrologer ghosting you because Venus was in retrograde. The night deepens, and you're tracing constellations the Aztecs named after animals and myths. There's Mamahuasli, their version of the Big Dipper, seen as a cosmic digging stick. You're not just stargazing, you're stepping into a mindset where the sky's alive, every twinkle a message. By dawn, you'll know why the Aztecs lived and died by these lights. For now, you're just a speck under their glow, learning to read their cosmic map. Joke 3. If you told an Aztec the stars were just gas balls, they'd probably sacrifice you for bad vibes. The fan's hum pulls you deeper, and the story's just begun. You're still on that Tenochtitlan rooftop, the stars blazing above like a divine puzzle you're itching to solve. The copal smoke curls thicker now, stinging your nose, and a priest nearby chants softly, his voice blending with the city's distant pulse. You're not just gawking at the sky anymore. You're diving into the Aztecs' sacred code, where every star whispers secrets to those trained to listen. The night feels alive, and you're starting to grasp how the Aztecs saw the heavens as a script written by gods. The priests, or Tlamakaski, are the real star readers here, and you're shadowing one now. Mainstream history notes they use star patterns to schedule major rituals, like the new fire ceremony, held every 52 years when the Pleiades hit zenith. This wasn't just a party, it was a cosmic reset to keep the world spinning. A quirky tidbit? Some priests chewed hallucinogenic herbs to talk to stars, claiming visions of divine orders. Historians still argue whether these trips shaped Aztec policy or just spiced up late-night temple chats. You watch the priest beside you, his eyes locked on a star cluster, muttering about omens. Joke 1. Think your boss is intense? Try reporting to a god via constellation. The sky's code wasn't just for show, it ruled life and death. Take Venus, the morning star. When it appeared at dawn, priests read it as Quetzalcoatl's signal, maybe for war or a king's coronation. You squint at its sharp glow, feeling the stakes. A wrong read could mean disaster, like picking a bad day for battle. The priest points to a faint star, calling it a smoking star, a comet. These were bad news, often tied to famine or conquest. You shiver, not just from the chill. The Aztecs believed stars were gods or their tools, each with a personality. The Milky Way, that cloud serpent, was a highway for divine messengers. You're starting to see the sky as they did, a living story. You shift on the mat, your back aching from hours of staring up. priest traces a line between stars, explaining their ties to the Tonalpohualli, the 260-day ritual calendar. Each day had a star-picked vibe, like a cosmic mood ring. You're no expert, but you're catching the rhythm. Stars weren't random. They were a divine script for timing everything from births to sacrifices. Joke 2. Imagine an Aztec priest ghostwriting your daily horoscope with an obsidian blade. The city hums below, and you wonder how anyone kept track of this celestial soap opera. The priest's chant grows softer, and you notice he's watching a star near the horizon. It's tied to Huitzilopochtli, the war god, and its position might mean trouble's brewing. You're not sure if you're creeped out or fascinated, but you're hooked. The stars aren't just lights, they're a language, and the priests are fluent. A breeze kicks up, carrying the scent of lake water from the city's edges. You're deep in this now, decoding a sky that feels like it's watching you back. Joke 3. If you told a priest the stars didn't care, he'd probably say you're cursed and hand you a cactus to hug. The night's still young, and the code's unraveling. You're still perched on that Tenochtitlan rooftop. The stars a dazzling sprawl above. But now your eyes drift to the city silhouette. Pyramids and platforms slicing the night. The Aztecs didn't just read the sky. They built their world to mirror it. You're about to explore their observatories, stone structures aligned with the heavens, where priests tracked stars like cosmic detectives. The air's cooler now, the copal smoke fading, but the city's heartbeat, drums, voices, keeps you grounded. These temples and platforms weren't random. Mainstream history confirms the Aztecs aligned major structures, like the Templo Mayor, with celestial events such as the equinox sunrises. The temple's twin shrines, dedicated to war and rain gods, caught the sun's rays on key dates, signaling ritual times. A quirky tidbit? Some platforms had secret nooks where priests stashed star charts carved on bark. Historians still argue whether these alignments were purely symbolic or precise enough for advanced astronomy. You're standing now, weaving between stone markers, feeling like you're in a giant sundial. Joke 1. Think your GPS is fancy? Try navigating by a pyramid's shadow. You step onto a platform, its edges worn smooth by centuries of sandaled feet. This is an observatory, not some fancy telescope dome, but a flat, open stage for sky watching. Priests here use tools like notched sticks to track stars' paths. You try it, squinting through an imaginary stick at the Pleiades. It's tricky, but you see how they pin down solstices and zeniths. The Templo Mayor, looming nearby, was built so its steps framed Venus's rise on certain mornings. You're awed. these folks engineered their city to sync with the cosmos. The stones underfoot feel alive, whispering of countless nights spent decoding the sky. You turn, spotting a smaller platform where priests marked the sun's path. The Aztecs obsessed over solar and stellar alignments, believing they kept the gods happy. A misaligned temple? That's like texting a god the wrong emoji. Disaster. You're starting to get why every building here feels like a love letter to the stars. Joke 2. Imagine an Aztec architect fired for missing a solstice by a day. The city's canals glint below, reflecting starlight, and you feel the weight of this place, a metropolis wired to the heavens. Nearby, a priest kneels, tracing a stone carved with dots and lines, a crude star map. These observatories weren't just for priests. They were public stages where cosmic events, like eclipses, were explained to crowds. You picture yourself in that throng, heart racing as the moon eats the sun. The priests use these moments to flex their sky knowledge, calming panic with chants. Joke 3. If you told an Aztec the moon was just a rock, they'd probably make you polish the observatory stones. The night hums on, and you're ready to meet the gods behind these stars. You're back on that Tenochtitlan rooftop, the city's pulse a faint thrum below. But the stars above demand your focus. They're not just lights to the Aztecs, they're gods, each with a name, a temper, and a role in the cosmic drama. You're about to meet these divine players, the celestial heavyweights who shaped Aztec rituals and kept the night sky buzzing with purpose. The air's crisp, the mat beneath you scratchy, and you're ready to dive into a pantheon that lives in the heavens. Mainstream history tells us the Aztecs tied major constellations to deities, like the Pleiades or Tianquistli, linked to the goddess Citlalicu, the star skirt. Her stars guided harvest festivals, her light a divine green light for offerings. A quirky tidbit: some Aztecs believed falling stars were the goddess's tears, shed when mortals forgot her rituals. Historians still argue whether these star gods were central to daily worship or more like cosmic cameos for big ceremonies. You lean back, eyes tracing the Milky Way, Mixcoatl, the cloud serpent, now a god slithering through the night. Joke 1. Think your family's dramatic? Try appeasing a starry goddess with a grudge. Picture Venus, blazing low, not just a planet, but Quetzalcoatl, the feathered serpent himself. His morning rise sparked rituals, sometimes bloody ones, to honor his power. You feel a chill, not from the breeze, but from the weight of his gaze. The Aztecs saw stars as divine eyes, always watching. Another god, Tezcatlipoca, ruled the northern sky, his constellation may be Ursa Major, tied to war and fate. You squint, trying to spot his starry domain, feeling like a mortal caught in a divine soap opera. Every twinkle up there had a story, a demand, a warning. You shift, your neck stiff from staring. The priest nearby points to a faint cluster, muttering about Tlahuizcalpantecutli, another Venus god, this one a dawnbringer who could curse or bless. The Aztecs didn't mess around. Each star god needed offerings, chants, or even hearts to stay happy. You're starting to see why rituals were non-stop. The sky was a divine HR department, always clocking your work. Joke 2. Imagine ghosting a star god's festival and waking up to a comet-shaped pink slip. The city's drums echo, syncing with your heartbeat. The god's influence wasn't abstract. Priests used their movements to time everything: marriages, battles, even kids' naming ceremonies. You're imagining a priest telling a nervous couple, "Sorry, Tezcatlipoca's stars say your wedding's cursed." The sky was a divine script, and these gods were its writers. Joke 3. If you told an Aztec the stars were just hydrogen, they'd probably say you're possessed and need a ritual bath. The night's deepening, and you're ready to see how these gods spun time itself. You're still sprawled on that Tenochtitlan rooftop, stars pulsing above like a cosmic heartbeat. The city hums below, but your mind's tangled in the Aztecs' obsession with time, how they spun it from the sky's endless dance. You're about to unravel their calendars, intricate systems tied to the stars, which kept their world from unraveling. The copal smokes faint now, the night air sharp, and you're ready to see how the heavens clocked every moment of Aztec life. Mainstream history confirms the Aztecs used two calendars: the Tonalpohualli, a 260-day ritual cycle, and the Xiuhpohualli, a 365-day solar year, both synced with stellar events like the Pleiades' zenith. These weren't just datebooks, they were divine blueprints for survival. A quirky tidbit: some Aztecs thought a calendar's end could trigger the apocalypse, so priests partied hard to reset it. Historians still argue whether these calendars were purely astronomical or laced with mystical guesswork. You're picturing a priest, eyes on the stars, scratching glyphs to track time's flow. Joke 1. Think your planner's packed? Try scheduling sacrifices by starlight. You're handed an imaginary codex, its pages marked with dots and symbols. The Tonalpohualli divides time into 20-day chunks, each ruled by a star or planet. Venus's cycle, roughly 584 days, was key. Its rise could bless a birth or curse a battle. You're dizzy just thinking about it. The Shuhpohwali tracked seasons with 18 months of 20 days plus 5 unlucky days when nobody dared move. Stars like the Pleiades signaled when to tweak the calendar, keeping it aligned with the sun. You're starting to see the sky as a giant clock, ticking with divine precision. You shift, your legs numb from the mat. The priest nearby points to Orion's belt, tied to the fire god Huehueteotl. Its position marked festival times, like the new fire ceremony when the world's lease got renewed. You're awed. The Aztecs wove stars into time so tightly, every day felt like a cosmic contract. Joke 2. Imagine an Aztec priest ghosting your birthday because the stars said it was inauspicious. The city's canals shimmer below, catching starlight, and you're sinking deeper into this celestial rhythm. The calendars weren't just for priests. Farmers, warriors, even kids lived by them. A kid born when Venus flared might be named for Quetzalcoatl, destined for greatness or trouble. You're imagining a nervous mom asking, "Is today a good star day for my baby?" The sky ruled it all, from planting to war. Joke 3. If you told an Aztec time was just math, they'd probably make you recalculate the calendar with a cactus quill. The night's thick now, and you're ready to see how priests turn stars into omens. You're still on that Tenochtitlan rooftop, the stars a glittering net above, pinning the night in place. The city's hum softens, but your pulse quickens as you focus on the priests, those cosmic detectives who turned every stellar twitch into an omen. You're about to witness how they read the sky's warnings, from comets to eclipses, shaping Aztec fates with their chants and knives. The air's heavy, the mat beneath you damp with dew, and you're ready to dive into their world of celestial fortune-telling. Mainstream history notes that Aztec priests meticulously observed celestial events, like the 1507 comet, which some linked to Cortez's later arrival. These omens weren't just curiosities. They could halt wars or spark sacrifices. A quirky tidbit: priests sometimes consulted stars by staring into obsidian mirrors, claiming to see divine memos in the reflections. Historians still argue whether these omens were genuine predictions or propaganda to control the masses. You're watching a priest now, his face tense, tracing a comet's arc with a trembling finger. Joke 1. Think your weather app's dramatic? Try a priest blaming a cloudy night on your bad vibes. Picture a lunar eclipse, the moon swallowed in shadow. You're in the crowd below, heart pounding as priests climb the Templo Mayor, chanting to save it. They read eclipses as the moon god's anger, demanding blood to calm him. You're spooked, even knowing it's just Earth's shadow. Comets were worse, smoking stars signaling famine or conquest. The priest mutters about one now, its tail a divine middle finger to the city. You're starting to get why omens ruled everything. The sky was a cosmic group chat, and the Aztecs were always checking for notifications. You shift, brushing off a stray ant. The priest points to Venus, its glow sharp as a blade, its odd movements, disappearing, then blazing back, were Quetzalcoatl's mood swings, maybe a nudge for war. You're imagining a king sweating as priests debate if Venus says attack or chill. The Tonalpohualli calendar, remember that 260-day cycle? Priests used it to match omens to days, deciding if a starry glitch was a blessing or a curse. Joke 2. Imagine a priest ghosting your promotion because a star wasn't feeling it. The city's drums thud, syncing with your nerves. These omens weren't just priestly flexes. They hit everyone. A bad star sign could cancel a wedding or scare farmers from planting. You're picturing a merchant, frozen mid-haggle, as a priest yells about a cursed comet. The sky was a divine lie detector, and priests were its interpreters. Joke 3. If you told a priest the stars were random, they'd probably make you stare into that obsidian mirror until you apologized. The night's grip tightens, and you're ready to see how warriors leaned on these starry signals. You're still perched on that Tenochtitlan rooftop, stars blazing like a cosmic war council above. The city's pulse quickens below. Shouts, the clatter of obsidian blades, and you're drawn to the warriors, those fierce Aztecs who look to the sky for battle cues. You're about to see how the stars guided their spears, their courage, their conquests, turning celestial flickers into war cries. The night air sharp, the mat beneath you stiff, and you're ready to march with these sky-led fighters. Mainstream history confirms the Aztecs timed military campaigns with celestial events, like Venus's morning rise, seen as Quetzalcoatl's green light for war. These weren't random raids. Stars set the schedule. A quirky tidbit: warriors sometimes painted their shields with star patterns, believing they'd channel divine power. Historians still argue whether stellar omens dictated strategy or just boosted morale. You're picturing a warrior now, his jaguar skin armor glinting, eyes locked on Orion's belt for courage. Joke 1. Think your pre-game playlist hypes you up. Try charging into battle under a god-starry thumbs up. You're trailing a warrior band, their faces streaked with ochre, heading to the city's edge. The priest from earlier points to Venus, low and fierce, signaling a good day to strike a rival city. You feel the tension. These guys didn't just fight for land, but to please the heavens. The constellation tied to Tezcatlipoca, maybe Ursa Major, was a war god's banner. Its position could mean victory or doom. You're imagining a captain pausing mid-march, checking the sky like it's a divine text message. The stars weren't just guides, they were commanders. You shift, your sandals scuffing the rooftop. The warriors below chant, their voices raw, invoking Huitzilopochtli, the sun and war god, whose stars in Orion sparked their fire. Remember the Tonalpohualli calendar? Its starry days picked battle dates, ensuring the gods were watching. A bad star day could cancel a raid, leaving warriors grumbling like kids stuck indoors. You're starting to see the sky as a war room, every twinkle a tactical note. Joke 2. Imagine a warrior sidelined because Venus was having a moment. The city's torches flare, mirroring the stars. This wasn't just about big battles. Warriors used stars for night raids, navigating by the Pleiades or the Milky Way's glow. You're picturing a scout, silent in the dark, using Tianquisli to slip past enemy lines. The sky was their GPS, their morale, their divine hype man. Joke 3. If you told a warrior the stars didn't care, they'd probably challenge you to a duel under a comet. The night hums with purpose, and you're ready to see how farmers leaned on these same stars. You're still on that Tenochtitlan rooftop. The stars, a quiet chorus above, their light now guiding your gaze to the fields beyond the city. The warriors' chants fade, replaced by the soft rustle of maize stalks, where farmers toil under the same celestial map. You're about to discover how these growers use the stars to plant, pray, and thrive, syncing their crops with the sky's rhythm. The night air's damp, the mat under you cool, and you're ready to walk the furrows of Aztec agriculture. Mainstream history shows the Aztecs relied on stellar cycles, especially the Pleiades movements, to time planting and harvesting in their chinampas, floating gardens. These stars signaled the rainy season's start, critical for maize. A quirky tidbit? Some farmers whispered to the stars, believing they'd coax better yields with flattery. Historians still argue whether these practices were purely practical or steeped in ritual superstition. You're picturing a farmer now, knee-deep in mud, eyeing the sky before sowing seeds. Joke 1. Think your weather app's clutch. Try betting your harvest on a starry wink. You're trudging along a chinampa's edge, the lake water lapping nearby. The Pleiades, or Tianquisli, hang high, their zenith marking the time to plant maize, beans, and squash. Remember the Xiuhpohualli calendar, that 365-day cycle? Farmers used its starry cues to plan, knowing a late planting could mean starvation. You feel the stakes. Each seed dropped is a prayer to Citlalicu, the star-skirt goddess. The Milky Way, that cloud serpent, was a divine irrigation ditch, its glow promising fertile soil. You're starting to see the sky as a farmer's almanac, written in light. You pause, brushing dirt from your hands. A farmer nearby points to Venus, its dawn rise a signal to clear weeds or offer maize cakes to the gods. These folks didn't just farm, they danced with the cosmos. A bad star day, like during the 5 unlucky days, meant no planting, no matter how sunny. You're imagining a farmer grumbling, stuck indoors, cursing a cloudy night. Joke 2. Imagine a farmer ghosted by a harvest because the stars hit snooze. The city's distant hum blends with crickets, tying you to this earthy rhythm. Farming wasn't just labor, it was worship. Star-timed festivals, like those for rain god Tlaloc, saw farmers offer copal and flowers, begging for wet fields. You're picturing a family, their faces lit by torchlight, chanting under the Pleiades. The sky was their boss, their priest, their hope. Joke 3. If you told a farmer the stars were just gas, they'd probably make you weed the chinampas at midnight. The night softens, and you're ready to hear the myths that wove these stars into Aztec origins. You're still on that Tenochtitlan rooftop, the stars now soft whispers above, pulling you from the fields back to the city's heart. The night's grown quieter, the air thick with stories, and you're about to hear the myths that tied the Aztecs' origins to the heavens. These aren't just bedtime tales, they're cosmic sagas where stars birthed gods and shaped a people. The mats damp beneath you, the city's glow faint, and you're ready to sink into the Aztecs' starry folklore. Mainstream history notes the Aztecs wove constellations into their creation myths, like the story of Coyolxauhqui, the moon goddess, whose starry dismemberment became the night sky's pattern. These tales explain the cosmos' order. A quirky tidbit? Some Aztecs believed the Milky Way was a divine ball court where gods played for humanity's fate. Historians still argue whether these myths were literal beliefs or poetic tools to unify the empire. You're picturing an elder now, voice low, pointing to the stars as she spins a tale. Joke 1. Think your family reunion's wild? Try a myth where stars are a goddess's chopped up bits. You're huddled by a fire, the elder's words painting the sky. Coyolxauhqui's story starts with her betrayal of her mother, Coatlicue, only to be slain by her brother, Huitzilopochtli, the war god. Her body, tossed skyward, became the moon and stars, a glittering reminder of divine justice. You squint, tracing Orion, maybe her scattered limbs. The Milky Way, that cloud serpent Mixcoatl, was the path her spirit fled. You feel the myth's weight. These aren't just stories, but a map of why the world ticks. The stars up there, their family drama, frozen in light. You shift, a pebble digging into your knee. The elder points to the Pleiades, tied to the myth of the 400 Southerners, star gods killed in a cosmic brawl, their light a memorial. Remember the Tonopahuali calendar? Its days carried these myths, linking births to starry ancestors. You're imagining a kid, name for a star god, told they carry a myth's spark. Joke 2. Imagine a kid grounded because their star ancestor lost a divine fistfight. The city's drums pulse, weaving the tale tighter. These myths weren't just for kids. They justified rituals, sacrifices, timed by stars, fed the gods to keep the sky's story rolling. You're picturing a priest, knife raised under Venus's gaze, reenacting a myth to save the world. The sky was a living epic, every twinkle a plot twist. Joke 3. If you told an Aztec the stars were random, they'd probably say you're cursed to narrate their myths backward. The night's fading, and you're ready to reflect on this starry legacy's glow. You're still on that Tenochtitlan rooftop, the stars now faint embers as dawn creeps near. The city's hum is a whisper, and you're reflecting on the Aztecs' celestial obsession, how their starry gaze shaped a civilization and echoes even today. You're about to trace the fading glow of their astronomy, its legacy lingering in modern skies. The mat's cold, the air soft, and you're ready to close this cosmic journey with a quiet nod to its enduring shine. Mainstream history credits the Aztecs with a sophisticated astronomy, their star-based calendars and alignments influencing later Mesoamerican cultures, like the Mixtec. Their knowledge, partly preserved in codices, informs modern archaeology. A quirky tidbit: some Mexican farmers still plant by Pleiades' cycles, a nod to Aztec roots. Historians still argue whether Aztec astronomy rivaled European systems or was more ritual than science. You're picturing a codex now, its star glyphs whispering across centuries. Joke 1. Think your stargazing app's cool. Try decoding a codex with a torch and a prayer. You lean back, eyes tracing the Milky Way, Mixcoatl's serpent still slithering. The Aztec sky wasn't just practical, it was their soul. Temples like the Templo Mayor, aligned with solstices, stand as ruins, but scream precision. You're awed, imagining archaeologists unearthing star charts, piecing together a cosmic worldview. The Tonalpohualli and Chiupohualli calendars. Remember them? Their starry logic lives in Mexico's festivals, where dancers honor Quetzalcoatl under Venus's glow. You feel the thread, past and present, tied by light. The sky's a bridge, and you're walking it. You shift, the rooftops chill seeping in. The Aztecs, star gods, Citlalicu, Tezcatlipoca, still haunt stories told in Nahuatl villages. Their myths, like Coyolxauhqui's starry fall, inspire art, from murals to tattoos. You're picturing a kid in Mexico City, sketching Orion, unaware it's Huitzilopochtli's fire. Joke 2. Imagine an Aztec priest time-traveling to a planetarium and demanding a sacrifice for a laser show. The city's first birds chirp, and you're sinking into the legacy. A people who read the stars to live, love, and dream. The Aztec sky reading didn't vanish with Cortez. It's in the Chinampas, still farmed, the rituals danced, the codices studied. You're not just looking at stars, you're seeing a civilization's heartbeat, faint but pulsing. Joke 3. If you told an Aztec their stars outlasted their empire, they'd probably say, duh, the gods planned it that way. The night's gone soft, and you're ready to drift into the wind down, carrying their light with you. You're sinking now, the rooftop fading, the stars blurring into a gentle glow. The Aztec sky, once a map of gods and omens, wraps you like a warm blanket. Let the city's drums soften, their rhythm a lullaby from centuries past. You're not in Tenochtitlan anymore. You're floating, the Pleiades winking above, whispering that time turns but never forgets. Feel your breath slow, the night's weight lifting, leaving only peace. The cloud serpent curls around you, its light a promise of rest. Drift now, carried by stories older than stone, softer than starlight. Sleep deep, dreaming of skies that still sing. Sweet dreams,